The moment this story surfaced, it didn't just raise eyebrows, it detonated a question that has been quietly whispered for years but never quite proven, never quite buried, and never quite forgotten. Because when a royal biographer like Tom Bower suddenly hints that an old passport copy, not a rumor, not a blog post, but an actual document, could challenge Meghan Markle's official birth year, the story stops being a rumor and starts becoming a mystery. And the real question isn't just about a number. It's about why this question refuses to disappear no matter how many times it's ignored, denied, or buried under new headlines.
Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
There's nothing original here.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake. When she was younger.
Hi, Nanny. I'm English more.
100% a bully brat.
I think when I was 30, if I thought about 50, I thought that is an awful long way away. And I don't really need to think about it. And then I blinked and I'm 50. That's crazy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
She's absolutely ruthless.
This is Meghan's first trip to the snow. Your dad took her up to Big Bear.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
That was her goal. Hashtag goal, to marry Prince Harry.
She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
For years, the official story has been simple, clean, and repeated so many times that people stopped questioning it. August 4th, 1981, a date that appears on biographies, interviews, official profiles, and every major publication that has ever written about her. Clean, neat, finished. But Tom Bower is not known for leaving stories neat and finished. He is known for pulling threads that other people are too nervous to touch, and according to whispers now circulating in royal circles and media backrooms, the thread he pulled this time was not a magazine article, not a yearbook photo, but something far more dangerous, an alleged old passport, copy connected to Meghan's early acting years. And if that document exists, and if the birth year on that passport is different from the official one, then suddenly this stops being gossip and becomes a timeline problem, a paper trail problem, a legal identity problem. Because passports are not Hollywood resumes. You don't adjust them for casting calls. You don't tweak them for auditions. They are government documents tied to legal identity, travel records, immigration logs, and official databases that don't care about image, branding, or public narrative.
I choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want.
And this is where the story starts to feel less like a celebrity rumor and more like a puzzle with pieces that don't quite fit together. Because this isn't the first time questions about Meghan's timeline have surfaced. Old magazine interviews that listed a different age, early acting profiles that allegedly showed a different birth year, classmates who reportedly remembered a different timeline, small things, scattered things, things that on their own mean nothing, but together start to form a pattern that Tom Bower has been quietly mapping for years.
Is Megsy really lying about her age? Now, when you Google her, it says that she was born on the 4th of August 1981. And with today being her birthday, as of me recording this video, it's saying that she's 44 years old.
And what makes this new development explosive is not just the claim itself, but the timing. Because according to people who follow royal media wars closely, this didn't surface randomly. It surfaced now, at a time when Meghan and Harry are already under pressure, already under scrutiny, already fighting battles on multiple fronts. Media deals, public image, royal tensions, financial questions, and suddenly, right in the middle of all that, this old question about her past appears again. But this time attached to a document instead of just stories.
Yeah, she had a very clear idea of where she wanted her path to take her.
And here's where it gets even stranger, because the passport story connects to a bigger question that has followed Meghan since before she ever met Harry, the question of reinvention. Hollywood runs on reinvention. Ages change, backgrounds get polished, timelines get adjusted. That's not a conspiracy, that's an open secret in the entertainment industry. But reinvention becomes a problem when Hollywood reinvention collides with royal paperwork, government records, and historical documentation, because those systems don't run on image, they run on records. So now the story isn't just, is the birth year wrong? The story becomes, which record is right? Because if an old passport shows one year and official biographies show another year, then somewhere along the line something changed. And the moment people start thinking something changed, they start asking why. And when people start asking why, they start looking for when. And when they start looking for when, they start looking for what else changed at the same time. And this is exactly why this story refuses to die. Because it's not really about age. It's about identity. It's about timeline. It's about whether the public story and the private paperwork tell the same story, or two completely different ones. And according to the people who believe Tom Bower is onto something, the passport is the missing piece. The piece that could either shut the entire story down forever, or blow it wide open in a way that can't be explained away with PR statements and legal letters. Because documents don't argue. Documents don't give interviews. Documents just sit there and exist quietly until someone finds them. And if that passport copy really exists, then somewhere in some archive, in some file, there is a date that either matches the official story or doesn't. And if it doesn't, then the real story isn't the age. The real story is why the age would ever need to change at all. And that is where the story takes a turn that makes people in royal circles very uncomfortable. Because once you start talking about passports, timelines, and official records, you are no longer in the world of gossip columns and celebrity blogs. You are in the world of legal identity. And legal identity is not something you can quietly edit without leaving fingerprints somewhere. And this is why the alleged old passport copy has become such a dangerous rumor. Because if a passport was ever issued with a different birth year, that means there was a moment in time when a different date was officially recorded somewhere in a government system. And government systems do not forget. Now think about the timeline everyone thinks they know. The struggling actress years, the auditions, the small roles, the briefcase job, the breakthrough role that finally changed everything, the royal romance, the fairy tale wedding, the global fame. That's the public timeline, the polished timeline, the one that appears in documentaries and biographies. But critics have always said there are gaps in that timeline. Strange gaps, quiet years where very little is clearly documented. Years where the story seems to jump from one chapter to another without much detail in between. And Tom Bower for years has been obsessed with those gaps because according to people who have followed his investigations, he believes the truth is always hiding in the years nobody talks about. And suddenly, this passport rumor points directly into those quiet years. Because a passport is not just a travel document. It is a snapshot of identity at a specific moment in time. Name, date of birth, place of birth, photograph, issue date, expiration date. It freezes a person's official identity at the exact moment it is issued. So if someone wanted to understand a person's timeline, an old passport would be like a time capsule. It would show who they officially were at that exact point in their life, not who they later said they were, not what a biography later claimed, but what the official paperwork said at the time. And that is why, if this alleged passport copy is real, it could be explosive, not because of what people think it says, but because of what it represents. A fixed point in time, a record that cannot be explained away as a typo on a website or a mistake in a magazine article, a government-issued identity. But here's where the story becomes even more tense, because according to media whispers, the reason this passport story is causing panic behind the scenes is not just the date, it's the possibility of a pattern. Because critics have long claimed that there were multiple versions of Meghan's early biography floating around during her early career, different ages listed in different places, different timelines timelines overlapping in strange ways. Most people ignored it because Hollywood is full of age adjustments and image reinventions. But royalty is not Hollywood, and when someone marries into the royal family, their past doesn't just become gossip, it becomes history. And history gets examined, documented, archived, and stored. So now imagine the pressure of that situation. Every school record, every job record, every travel record, every legal document, every contract, every form, all of it becomes part of a permanent historical archive. And if even one of those documents shows a different date, then suddenly historians, journalists, biographers, and investigators start asking questions that don't go away. And the most uncomfortable part of this entire story is not the document itself, it's the silence around it. Because according to the pattern people have noticed, whenever these timeline questions appear, the response is not a detailed explanation, not a document release, not a timeline clarification. It's silence. And silence in media storms like this is like gasoline on a fire, because silence doesn't stop questions. Silence multiplies them. People start asking, if the record is correct, why not show it? If the timeline is clean, why not clarify it? If the story is simple, why does it look complicated when people start digging? And this is why the alleged passport copy rumor has become the most dangerous version of this story so far, because it moves the entire controversy away from he said, she said, and into the world of documents, records, and timelines that can be checked, verified, and compared. But there is another layer to this that makes the whole situation feel even more like a slow-burning mystery rather than a simple celebrity scandal. Because the royal family is not just a family, it isn't built on lineage, records, dates, history, and documented identity. Everything is recorded. Everything is archived. Everything is dated. Births, marriages, titles, succession, all of it depends on records being correct and consistent. So when a biographer like Tom Bower starts publicly hinting that there may be a document somewhere that challenges an official date connected to someone in the royal orbit, it doesn't just create gossip headlines, it creates institutional discomfort. Because institutions do not like inconsistencies in official records. Institutions do not like timeline questions. And institutions definitely do not like stories that suggest there might be two different versions of the same biography. And that is why this story keeps coming back again and again, year after year, book after book, interview after interview, because it has never been completely shut down with one simple piece of evidence that ends the conversation forever. The questions always remain just open enough, just unanswered enough, just mysterious enough for the story to survive. So now the entire controversy hangs on a single question that nobody outside a very small circle supposedly knows the answer to. Does that old passport copy actually exist? And if it does, what date is written on it? Because if the date matches the official story, then this entire mystery collapses overnight and Tom Bower looks like a man chasing shadows. But if it doesn't match, then the real story isn't about a number. The real story becomes about a past that may not be exactly what the world was told it was. And until that question is answered with something concrete, something official, something undeniable, this story will not disappear. It will sit there quietly in the background like a question nobody can fully answer and nobody can fully silence.